So good morning everyone. I'm marketing professor at Taxila Business School, and today we have a session on Mini MBA, and I'll be taking the fundamentals of marketing to begin with. I want to make it a lively session, so I want every one of you to stay with me. If you have any questions, if you have any kind of problem, then ask me. We can chat through the chat box history we have here with us. So let's try and understand the basics of fundamentals of marketing. So these fundamentals of marketing, see, you all are here. Every one of you, if you can turn on your camera, that would be great, because I'll be able to interact with you and connect with you easily. If it's convenient for all of you to stay connected with me, so please turn on your camera. See, marketing is pervasive, you know, it's present everywhere. Many of you might be wearing a good watch, a shoe, you're using your laptop, you're using your mobile handset. Everything has been marketed by the companies, and that is really important. That makes the consumers think about a particular brand. So let's begin with the fundamentals of marketing by understanding, number one, what is market? You know, before we understand the exact concept of marketing, we need to have an idea about what is market. So, as far as this market is concerned, the very first line simply says, all the potential customers who share the ability and willingness to buy the product. Now, there are two important terms which have been used. Number one is that your ability to buy the product. That means a customer should have a good pocket size to buy it. I might be interested as a consumer in buying a couple of brands. I might go for Oppo, I might go for Samsung, I might go for iPhones. But it completely depends whether I have the ability to pay or not. So when a company is determining its market, it has to see whether the consumers, they have the ability to pay or not. Number two, they have the willingness to buy the product. So as I discussed, I might be having a willingness to buy a couple of commodities. They might be very expensive or cheap. So depending on my pocket size, I will be deciding whether I have to go for a particular product or a brand or not. And this is what is being studied by the marketers. And this is how they define their market. Number second, everyone who buys a mobile phone, you know, so they become the part of a mobile phone market. Now, as I was giving you an example, now the complete market cannot be my market. Each and every one of us nowadays, we are so well acquainted with the technology and we are so used to the smartphones that each and every person has a smartphone. But the complete market doesn't become my market. If Samsung has to define its market, it's going to be a complete different category. If Oppo has to define its market, it's going to be a complete different category. It depends the kind of models you have. It depends on the number of variants you have, and plus the cost associated with each and every variant. So what we are trying to understand is the complete market of those people who are interested in buying mobile phones is not company's market. The company's market would be a market where the person has a capacity to pay, and which is a very, very relevant point when we try and study a particular market. So it's really very, very important to identify your market first and then define what should be your marketing strategy. We will come on to the marketing strategy later, but right now it is important for us just to understand what is the basis of a company to define its market. So I hope that makes the point clear to you that you should have the ability and you should have the willingness to buy a product. Turning point in marketing history. Yes. So there was a time, I hope every one of you might be aware, that there was a time when we had the barter system into existence, right? How many of you know about the barter system? Can you please drop a message, yes and no? What according to you is barter system? Do you have an idea? At one point of time, we had barter system, right? So yes, of course, it's a very simple concept whereby we used to exchange the product in exchange of another product. So that was a barter system. Slowly and gradually, the market changed. we had a denomination in the form of currency, and then the currency was exchanged in return of a particular product or an item. So that was a turning point in the marketing history. So we had the introduction of currency in the market, and this is how the exchange started happening. Now it is not just about that. There are certain, you can say the government policies which were slowly and gradually came into picture after we had currencies and after there was a global recession in 1930, which again changed the marketing picture completely. So let me again give you a little idea about what exactly do I mean when I'm referring to 1930s, a global recession. Because that was a point where everything turned. Why it turned? Because there the seller's market became the buyer's market. How? Seller's market, it's a very simple thing to understand in a way that whatever the seller has to sell, right, whatever it is he is capable, the company is capable of producing, they are producing and selling it out in the market without even considering what is the need, what is the requirement of my consumer. So there it was a turning point when seller's market, it turned into a buyer's market. The buyer's market in the sense, now the companies, they become more considerate about their consumers. Now the companies started thinking that they cannot survive in the market if they do not have good idea about buyers. So now buyers started dominating the market. Now there was a time in fact, where the buyers became more powerful. They had a strong bargaining power. When I say this, a strong bargaining power, just think about you as a consumer, right? Can I see the names here? So we have Shalini Gupta here, Piyush Joshi, Shivam Tiwari. You know, all of you just try and understand in which situation do you feel that you as a consumer has strong bargaining power? In which situation? Let me just make it a little more easy for you. For example, there is a situation where we have just one company providing us the goods and services. There is another situation where we have couple of companies. For example, we have 7 to 9 companies in the market and they are providing the similar kind of products in the market. Now, as a buyer, where can I afford to bargain? Will I be more powerful as a bargainer when it comes to a market where there is monopoly, when I have only one company to give me the products? Or will I have a more bargaining power if I have 7 to 9 or 10 competitors and companies delivering the similar line of product to me? Of course, the second option, very true. You all are buyers in the market and you know it very well that your bargaining powers become strong if there are number of competitors. Reason being, what you think like, if I cannot buy from one, of course the next one is available for me. If the next one is not giving me according to my price quotation, I'll go to the another one and this chain goes on. So as a buyer, I will have more bargaining power when there is more competition in the market in terms of companies' competition. And if I think about the another situation, right, where the seller becomes more powerful. I was telling you at one point of time, and then slowly and gradually it got converted into the buyer's market. So how seller's market? Because at that point of time, sellers were more powerful because there were very few sellers in the market. So they had more bargaining power. So yes, competition matters a lot. Here somebody has answered my question, Mr. Alok Kumar Gupta. He says competition is important and this perfect competition really makes a difference in our market. Absolutely. So this was actually a turning point in the market, marketing history, and it made the presence and in fact the position of buyers more prominent as compared to what we used to have earlier. Now, it's very important for us before we move further exactly to what marketing is, exactly to what marketing management is, and what are marketing strategies. You need to understand for whom am I designing these marketing strategies. Now, whom? Of course, as I was talking about you in the previous example, I was saying it's important for me to know who is my consumer, who is my buyer, who is my customer, right? So now it is important to understand the basic difference between the two. See, I can see that I have a number of students here. You might have been logged in through your laptops, or maybe you have your mobile handsets with you, right? Can I have those yes and no from you so that I know that yes, you are using some product in order to log in? Yes? Of course, yes. Of course, you cannot otherwise attend the online class if you do not have a gadget with you. All right. Now my next question is, how many of you have actually purchased this item with your own money? Own money, I mean to say that you've earned it and you have purchased it and now you are consuming it. How many of you have done? And how many of you have taken money from your parents and then purchased laptops or maybe mobile handset, the smartphones? How many of you? Okay, so I have no and then yes and yes. Somebody said my sister paid for my mobile phone. Absolutely. Now see, understand one thing here. Consumer is the one who is actually consuming the product. Customer is the one who actually purchased the product. So there is a difference between the two. So in your case, when somebody is telling me, no, I did not buy it from my own money. No, I did not go to the market and make the final purchase. Maybe your parents have done it, maybe your sister has done it for you, whoever. In that situation, you become the consumer of the product. But the customer who has made a final purchase is either your sister or your parent or your friend or anybody else. I hope that point is clear to you. You are attending Mini MBA in marketing. Of course, that is free of cost. But maybe once you will take your decision to get into a full-fledged marketing course, you have to pay your fees. And when you pay your fees, it's as simple. There has to be somebody who has to take out that money from the pocket. Either it is you who have actually accumulated a good amount, or maybe it must be somebody who would be spending on your behalf, right? In that situation, the person who spends is the customer and the person who consumes, that means you are the consumer who is actually and finally consuming it. Now, there is a twist here. Sometimes you are both the customer and the consumer, both. It's quite obvious because when you have the capacity to pay, when you make the final decision to buy the product, of course, you are the consumer as well as the customer. So they can be both the things together. You must have seen in the market how mothers are taking the decision to buy commodities for their kids. I go to the market, I buy a lot of stuff for them. For example, if I'm buying Horlicks for them or Bonvita, it's me who is making a final decision to buy it, right? I am the one who is a customer, but my kids are the consumer. But that doesn't mean that the marketing strategy will not be focused on my kids and it will be focused on me because I am the final buyer. No, just think about it. Kids are at home. They are watching the advertisements. They're getting influenced by the marketing strategy to a very, very great extent. The way the product has been packaged, the way it has been designed, the way it has been advertised. I hope you all got that point. So in that situation, the company will not only be focusing on the consumer, but also the customer, will not only be focusing on the customer, but also a consumer, depending on the way it has to influence. If I have to influence a mother, let me again go back to my previous example, right? Now, I really want you to stay connected here. Drop me a message and tell me, if a mother decides to buy Horlicks for her child, what exactly is she going to look at into that product? What do you think? What is she going to look? I really want some answers here. Okay. So you are talking about a value, you're talking about nutrition, yes, and of course the ingredients. So when a marketing company, when they decide to come up with an advertisement, when they are promoting their product, what exactly they're doing? If they have to actually, target a customer, that means in our example, it's a mother, right? They have to talk about nutritional value. They have to talk about the value for money. But on the same note, I know it very well that consumer is equally important for me. Now you give me the answer. How a marketing strategy needs to be designed for a kid who is watching advertisements sitting at home? Or maybe when he visits a retail store with his mother, what exactly is he going to look at? Just think about it. So yeah, the flavor is again important. So coming to the second question, how would you answer it? Yeah, the product design, absolutely. The color theme, absolutely. The packaging. So that's how. Attractiveness. You need to make your products very, very attractive because you know that your consumer market is a very different market here, the kids market. So you cannot afford to make it in a very pale design and pale colors because you have to attract a different level and the segment of the market. Is that clear? So that's how now we come to the next part of it. This is a simple example I just wanted to quote where there is a toy shop, you have a customer, a father or a mother helping her child, so he will be making the final payment, so he is a customer. She is the one who will be consuming, is a consumer, right? So sometimes they are different people when you talk about a customer and a consumer, and sometimes they are the same. Coming to the next part of it. Now, of course, for me, it is important to know the customer profile. Now, what is customer profile? A combination of information that helps to paint the picture of your target market, which will actually help me understanding my target market. I can visualize who my consumers are. What is the profile of my consumer in terms of his background, in terms of his occupation, in terms of his attitudes, in terms of his lifestyle, geographical residence. So these are the points which are very, very important for me. You must have seen a Naptol ad, right? How many of you have heard about it, Naptol? Generally, we have it during daytime. How many of you know that? The timings are very different. Yes, I'm getting the yes answers. Have you observed that these kinds of advertisements, they are played during the daytimes and not generally during the night time? Or maybe the evening hours, which are considered to be the peak hours. Yes? Another thing, let's talk about it. For example, there is an expensive item. You want to buy a car. Generally, these advertisements, right, you talk about Hyundai, you talk about any other brand for that matter, they generally try to have these advertisements during the evening hours or maybe the late evening hours because they know it as far as these expensive products in the market are concerned. The decision will be taken by the head of the family, and the head of the family is busy throughout the day. He will not be there to watch your advertisements during the daytime. They're busy working. So what is the right and the easiest way to influence your customer is to design your marketing strategy by understanding your customer profile, right? You need to know who is the person, male or a female, occupation. You need to understand what is his occupation, for how many hours in the day is he working, how much is the income level, and so on. Depending on these factors, you will be deciding your marketing strategy. I hope that point is clear to everyone, that after understanding the customer profile, it is very easy for you to design your marketing strategy based on the decisions you have taken in the past about knowing your customers. So knowing your customer profile basically helps you in taking intelligent marketing decisions because you are very clear about your market, you're very clear about your target population. Coming to another part of it. Now coming to what is marketing. According to the American Marketing Association, how they have defined marketing is the performance of business activities that direct the flow of goods and services. I'm talking about the flow of goods and services from the producer to the consumer or maybe the final user. Now, C class, understand one thing very well. We are talking about the flow of goods and services. Flow of goods and services It's determined on number of factors. It's the important task of a marketer to know it very well. How the flow of goods and services will be directed or smoothly put into place. How will you do that? It's a very simple thing to understand. Whenever we talk about the flow, we talk about the outbound and we also talk about inbound. Now, how outbound and inbound? See, the flow of goods and services will be smooth when everything right from the beginning is going in order. Now, how in order? If a company has to manufacture, if there is a producer, he has to manufacture. He will be dependent on number of activities and we call them inbound activities. Now, these inbound activities, basically, it's nothing but it's one part of your supply chain management. What you try to do is, your raw materials should be made available to the company at the right time when it is required for production. You got to have an access to the right technology in order to produce the goods and services. You need to have the right level of manpower available in your company. So these are certain things which are inbound. I'm saying it inbound, see, the production has not yet taken place, right? You need to have certain activities to be performed before the production takes place. We call them inbound. The services are coming in, raw materials are coming in, people are coming in, technology is coming in. So this is happening in order to make the final production happen. Once the production has taken place, now it is important for us to see that the produced commodities, goods and services, they are made available in the market at the right place, at the right time, and in the right quantity, which is very, very important. I'll explain you in detail about why these three factors are important once we start understanding the 4 P's of marketing along with the extended ones. So one thing is very clear, you have to take care of the inbound activities, right? And then the outbound activities in terms of you got to have good packaging, good transportation, good logistics basically in order to make these goods and services finally made available. So after the production has taken place and the services, which happen later once the production is complete, we call them the outbound services. These are the outbound activities basically. So this is nothing but it's a part of your supply chain management which starts right from the raw material procurement till the goods are made finally available to the final consumer. I hope that makes it clear to you because it is important for us to have a good flow of services and goods in the market. Okay? Now, marketing is engaging customers. That's the important task of marketing. You have to engage your customers with you. And there came the concept of customer relationship management. We call it CRM. Customer relationship management is very, very important. Just think about it. If you do not have a right relationship manager, to keep the consumers engaged, if you do not have the right relationship manager to keep the consumers happy, they will move to the another brand. And that's what happens when we were discussing about the definition of marketing management given by the American Marketing Association. You need to have a proper flow of goods and services, and you have to finally make it available to your final consumers. That's the simple definition of it. But as clear, you need to see that your consumers should stay engaged. You need to have a good manager to keep a good relationship with them. You need to keep on attracting the new customers towards your brand. You need to keep on developing more customers towards your brand and a company. You need to see what is your potential market. How many of the customers can be turned into your final consumers? Maybe they are not right now. So, there are inbound activities to produce the product and outbound activities to sell them. Yes, absolutely, all right. So, this is whom do I have? This is Anjit, right? Yes. Fine. So this is how generally it is done, and we need to keep a track on our present consumers. We need to keep them happy. We need to satisfy them. Contentment is the need of an hour. And the contentment at this point of time cannot happen if you do not have a relationship manager. Now just think about it. You all must have, purchased a lot of expensive equipments. For example, you installed a home theater. Now, when you're installing the home theater, you got to have the speakers, you need to have the screen, right? These people, they come and install. They explain you each and every thing about the product. So all the intricacies are explained to you. And later on, once you start using the product, right, they will keep on interacting with you to know how are the things going on, right? If there is any issue, they'll come and help you out with it. If there is no issue, still it's a kind of a relationship, just to say hi, hello, and just to see that everything is in order. This is nothing but it's a relationship management. They want to they want to stay connected with their customers. They want to make the customers happy and contented. So that's why it is said you have to attract the new consumer. Yes, that's one of the purpose of marketing, but it's very important to keep and grow your current customers and retain the old customers simultaneously. It is said it's still very less expensive if you retain your old customers, and it's very, very expensive, in fact, to grow your or attract your new consumers, because you have to spend a lot on advertising, you have to keep on spending on the promotion, and etc., etc. So your budget increases. So if you're able to retain your old customers, this is little less expensive. So marketers, they try and develop the strategies in order to keep them and in order to grow the new potential customers as well. I hope that point is clear to everyone. So Amazon has been doing it right from the beginning. It started its business in the online market, started with the book business, and then slowly and gradually got into groceries and other stuff. Myntra came up with the concept of Myntra. How many of you buy products from Myntra? How many of you? You do your shopping on online platform, this Myntra platform. How many of you do that? Yes, yes. So there are a lot of people who are shopping on Myntra. Can you tell me that one important thing which really made you think that Myntra has been really innovative? See, what is basically the problem when you shop online? What happens? The problem is when we are shopping online, we cannot see the product properly, right? And one more thing, you cannot actually touch it. You cannot feel it. So still the consumer has this in mind. I cannot really feel the product. I cannot touch it. So it becomes difficult sometimes for me to buy it. I cannot take that final decision. So it happens. Very, very often it happens. So they came up with one, scheme, right? They had this one strategy. How many of you remember? Yes, somebody is telling me product color we are not very sure of. The material we are buying we are not sure of. So what happened? They came up with a strategy where you can actually try the product, see it. If you're not satisfied, you can give it back. So this was try and buy. Do you remember? They came up with this concept. Yeah, try and buy. That's what. So see, this is nothing but here I'm trying to understand what could be the probable problems of my consumers, right? And then I try to give a solution to it. This is nothing but understanding my market, understanding the pulse of my market, understanding the problems of my market, and then finally giving a solution to it. Okay? Facebook has also done it. Facebook's mantra was basically to bring all the old friends together, right? Those people who have never stayed connected. So let me bring everybody, on the same platform. Yeah, good strategy again. Very, very important thing. Very important. Selling is the tip of the marketing iceberg. Selling is just the tip of the marketing iceberg. You all know what is iceberg? Iceberg, it has a major portion, right, inside, under the water. And only the tip is visible. That's iceberg. And selling is just like the tip of the marketing iceberg. If a company can design good marketing strategies, let me tell you, dear students, they don't have to really spend a lot on selling it. The selling will happen automatically. The selling will fall in place automatically. So that is the reason here. If you are good at your marketing activities, selling will happen on its own. This was said, the aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous, right? To know and understand the customer so well that the product or services fits him and sells by itself. Such a wonderful statement given by Mr. Peter Drucker. He came up with a number of books. The question which I asked you a few minutes back, they were trying to make you understand that it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. We do the comparative analysis, right? We discuss about the 5 forces model. This is nothing but it's given by Peter Drucker. Okay, yeah, very great contribution made by him. Let me have one poll here, right? So students here, which sports shoes brand do you prefer? Okay, a very simple question. I'm talking about the sports shoes brand. Just think about it, which one do you prefer? So we are starting the poll here. We will give you the options. Okay, we have started the poll. Please just see the poll once and give me your answers. We give you a few seconds to do it and let me see which brand do you prefer. So I have the poll result ready here with me. Okay, so which sports shoes brand do you prefer? So 13% said Puma, 17% said Reebok, 39% said Nike, 0% Fila, any other 0%. So basically when we talk about the sports brand, it's Puma, Reebok, Adidas and Nike, right? Where Nike has the majority of the preference, right? The major preference by the consumers is given to the brand Nike. So see, this gives us an idea basically that based on the marketing strategies, based on the way it has been positioned and pictured in the mind of the consumers, that the consumers prefer this kind of these different kinds of brands. Maybe somebody might be preferring it on the basis of say color or design, or maybe you can say the comfort, the ease, right? Or maybe just the brand name in the market. So there must have been a couple of reasons. So let me also know the reasons why you preferred it. So my next question is, which are the key elements considered while selecting the sports shoes? Okay, so can I have the second poll again with me? Now I have the answer here with me. Okay, 15% of the audience, right, or the respondents I would say, they said brand is more important to them. Comfort has been raised by 56% of the respondents. Price 11%, durability 15%. Design and color, nobody has said that. Correlates your personality, whether you really feel that your personality is related to the brand you're wearing. There has been only 4%. Most advertised or known brand 0%, any other 0%. So basically comfort is the one which is seen when you buy a sports shoe. Thank you, sir. So see, we had 2 polls here, right? We try to understand that on what basis the consumer is deciding. This is nothing but it's a kind of a marketing research I'm doing here, right? I'm just trying to understand your perception. I'm trying to understand what exactly the company should do in order to fit in or position the brand in the consumer's mind. So Nike has done it very well. Nike has never sold its product basically, if you can recall. It never talks about its product. It talks about the athletics. It talks about the athletes. That's a different way of positioning its brand in the market. How well and articulated way of convincing and designing its message. Very, very nicely done. And yes, when you wear the brand, you really see that it is more comfortable to you. So majority of you have selected Nike and majority of you said that you selected this brand because it is very comfortable to wear. All right. So there's one, what is the marketing strategy of Tesla? Okay, because they really spend on promotion. Okay, it's a very clear concept of understanding in the sense, what is Tesla nowadays talking about? If talking about Elon Musk, let me tell you, he has been the one who's been promoting the brand with just his, one-liner tweets. If talking about Tesla's EVs, let me tell you, they're just trying and propagating that this kind of a vehicle is going to take over the market in future completely. How completely? Because now, right now, we are dependent on the resources which are, which cannot be, you can say, replenished. They are the ones which might get away. They'll, go away from the society. So at this point of time, when you have a vehicle which might give you a good mileage and where the costing is also low and where that, the customer once spends a good amount, a huge amount, but later on, the maintenance, amount which is required is not going to be that high. So that is nothing, but it is the way the company is trying to project itself. And that's how the consumers are convinced. So it's not only about those four-wheelers in the market, right? Even the two-wheelers have taken its own pace, right? So now you have the scooters also, the EVs taking over the market. They know it very well. It's just the one-time investment which has to be made by a consumer. And later on, it is going to be, very easy going as far as the refilling of fuel and gas and everything is concerned, because it runs on electricity. So see, this is nothing but it's about changing the perception of your market, right? Influencing your customers by making them understand that this is the future of vehicles in the market, right? It's not necessary that I have to talk about that the products coming from Tesla, they are fabulous. You talk about quality, they are fabulous. No, they are innovative. They've been able to influence the market. They've been able to train the consumer's mindset by making them understand this is what is going to be the future. Very simple way of making them understand. All right. So yes, we call it the influence marketing. See, market share. Yes. How many of you really think that the company needs to understand its market share? Why do you think? Just give me your answers here in the chat box. Do you really feel that it's important for the company to know what is my market share? Now, if there is a complete market of 100 people, as I'm just taking a dummy example here. Nike needs to know that 40% is my market, or maybe Puma needs to know that 10% belongs to me, or maybe the another brand, Adidas, needs to know that 10% comes to me. Is it really important for the brands to know its market share? Just think about it. Yes and no. Number one, give me that answer. And tell me, why do you think that market share is supposed to be known by the company? Yes. So yes, I completely understand. There are people who are telling me it's important for us to know what is the market share. But now, later on, why is it necessary to know your market share? See, percentage of total sales volume generated by the companies, right? It is important for them to know and to have an idea of. Number two, knowing their market share helps the marketers analyze their competition. So if Nike knows that 40% is my market share, the Nike needs to know why 60% of the market share is not in my hands. If the company knows that I have only 10% of the market share in my hand, for example, let's pick up an example of Adidas. There was 15% for Adidas, sir, 15%. Company needs to know that if it is only 15%, what is it and where is it that the company is going wrong? It gives you an idea about your market standing. It gives you an idea about your position in the market in terms of your competitors. Nike has 40, I have 15. Why? The company is producing the same and similar line of product. I'm also doing the same. Why? Is it because I am not really putting in more efforts on my advertising? Am I really not using the right kind of a brand ambassador? Or is it that the quality of my product is not good? Or is it the pricing? I need to know these factors very well. And these factors will be well known to me once I'm very clear about it that this is my market share. So that is the important concept to understand one important thing to be noticed by the companies before they design their marketing strategy. Their status in a given market, of course. Next, coming to it, see market segmentation. We picked up an example, when I started my class. I said it's really important for me to segment the market because the complete market cannot be my market. If I'm talking about the mobile handset, all those consumers who are using my mobile handset, right, they cannot be my market. I have to segment it. I have to divide it into groups. Really? Why? Now give me an idea. I really want to know those reasons. Why is it for the same company to divide the segment, different units from the market, and then design its marketing strategy? How many of you think it should be done? If it is to be done, why do you think this market segmentation needs to be done? So because based on the market share, they can create the products, absolutely. It's useful for benchmarking, okay? Of course, it's, it helps you in creating the product accordingly. Budget, very, very true. I'm really happy to see those answers coming from you because that really makes me understand that how well we are connected with each other. It's really important for you to understand that the segmentation will make the company understand that which is that segment or the portion of my market. This is the complete market, right? Out of this market, maybe these are the 4 segments, and this is the segment I'm supposed to look at. This is the segment. So it's as simple as that I will not be designing the product for this segment, and this segment. I will not be designing, okay, I will not be designing the marketing strategies, right, for these 3 segments. I'll be doing it only and only for this segment of the market, right? So unnecessary expenditures will not be there. Unnecessary advertising will not be done. I will definitely segment the market, understanding the needs and requirements. Is that clear to you? So of course, once the target market is identified, they can customize their marketing strategies accordingly. I gave you an example early, right? You need to design it according to your customers. I need to design my marketing strategy according to kids or maybe to the head of the family, right? We have been discussing about these marketing strategies like that. So to do this, the businesses may segment a market by demographics. Now, how do you generally segment the market? See, understand, number 1 is your demographic. Demographic variables are very, very important. I need to know the age of my consumer. I need to know the place he comes from, geographical area. I need to know what is his income. I need to know a lot of demographic, variables in order to understand my customer profile. Number 2, I need to know about his psychographics. Go back to the poll we had. We talked about, I raised a question. How many of you can correlate that brand with your personality? This is nothing but it's your psychographic variable. You will be able to correlate the brand with your personality. Sometimes you really feel that you're a kind of a, powerful person. So you need a robust vehicle to drive, right? L'Oreal, you're worth it. You need to be a little sophisticated. So I can correlate it. So attitudes, they really matter a lot. So what are the attitudes of a consumer? So of course, when you are segmenting the market, it's number 1, the demographic, number 2, the psychographic, then come your geographic, the region-wise, the area-wise, and of course, on the basis of the product benefits. So there is one segment of the market looking for one particular category of product with certain benefits. The another market will be looking at the another benefits. So this is how we generally divide and segment the market. Coming next to it. Target market, essential. This we have been discussing. The target market needs to be identified. The whole segmentation has been done. Now, based on that segmentation, I'll be picking the one, right, which would become my target market, right? So, target marketing, it involves focusing the marketing decisions on a specific group of people. And they would like to reach out that, segment of the market for their product delivery. The more information you have about your target market, it is easier for you to take the marketing decisions. And of course, you will be able to reach the right kind of audience. Otherwise, your decisions might go wrong. Maybe if you do not know your right target market, you will not be able to design the right strategy. If I know my market is the kids segment, right? I'm more focusing on the females. So my strategies will be accordingly devised. So my target market needs to be very, very clear to me. That's the another approach. These are nothing but we have tried to understand that before a marketer designs its marketing strategy, what factors are generally being considered by him. Maybe the target market, maybe the segmentation, in terms of demographics, psychographics, and so on. Maybe just about understanding the whole and complete market. Maybe about understanding his competitors and on. So these are some of the things, some of the, I can say important variables considered by him before he designs his marketing strategy. How much I have to spend on advertising? How much do I need to, spend on market research? How much I have to really innovate and, come up with a new product line and so on. So all these decisions are taken based on the concepts we have studied so far. Now we come to the very important thing here. As part of marketing class, it's really important for you to know what are these marketing mix. Because generally whenever you do marketing based on your product, which kind of a product you are producing, right? What is the quality? What are the specifications of your product? So you really need to have an idea about these products. So we have these 4 P's of marketing. We have another 3 extended P's of marketing given by McCarthy. We'll come to them. But number 1 is when you're designing a marketing strategy, it's really important for you to know that what kind of a right product is to be produced by you, right? And accordingly, you see the specifications, accordingly, you produce it based on the demands, needs identified by you, right? Then you see that your product is made available at the right place, which is very, very important. You have to see that it is available at a right price. Then you have to see that your product is promoted in a right way because your competitors are also there in your market. So your presence has to be felt, right? So you need to promote your product accordingly. All these 4 areas must be interconnected to be more effective. This is very, very important. We'll come on to these one by one. When we are talking about a product, knowing what product to make is important because the company has to make this important decision. Whether I have to deal with the old product which I have already in the market or do I need to go for a new product line. How to package it, because that's how is the value of your product is enhanced. That makes your kids buy your product if it is really attractive in nature. You answered that to me. You need to be very, very playful with the colors. That was your answer. What brand name to use? Again, that's a part of your product. And then what image to project. Because when you produce something, you actually position it in a similar way. Positioning is basically registering the image of your brand or a product in the mind of consumer. How you want your consumers to understand about you. See, you might be understanding about the Apple brand in a different way. For Samsung, you might be having a different perception. Maybe one is considered to be a budgeted phone for you. The another one is considered to be a luxury. It's an expensive item. So this is how the company has positioned itself. How do you know otherwise? You keep on using it. Sometimes you find that the different variants of iPhones which are coming in the market, they are not very, very different from each other. Yes, they can be slightest and very minute modifications done. But still when you see the pricing, there is alarmingly, it's high. So it's just about the perception. Somebody says that I cannot really skip my Android, right? I'm really comfortable as a user to use the Android versions, right? But somebody says, no, I cannot go ahead because I want more security on my phone. So iOS is, this is how you generally design. It's just about perception. The way the brand has registered itself is very, very important. Coming to the next part of it, place. Place. Okay. Before I explain place to you, just tell me one thing. When you go to a retail outlet, right? You go for shopping, you buy shoes, maybe sometimes you go with your mother and father and parents and you buy groceries and etc. etc. Has it ever happened in your life that you visited a retail outlet, you were looking for a specific brand, you couldn't find it, you couldn't find that product, but since you wanted that commodity, So what happened in gradually that you shifted from one brand to another because one was not available, so you shifted to the another one. Did that happen to you any time in your life? Yes or no? Yes, yes, very nice, very nice. So that means it's a proven point that it happens with us. Sometimes we are very, very brand conscious, so generally what happens is we do not shift. But when there is a need and we feel that maybe last time I visited the store, I couldn't find my brand, okay, maybe I did not switch over. Next time I again go, I couldn't find my brand, I might switch over. Because I really feel the brand I want in the market, the product I want in the market is not available when I need it. So when I need it and it is not available, what is the point? Let me switch over to the brand which is readily available. Yes or no? That's what our perception is. So place is a very, very important point. You have to make your products, you have to make your services available at the right time, at the right place. If it is not available at the time when it is required by the consumer, that might dilute the brand image completely. So it determines how and where the product will be distributed, the right area where it is demanded the most. I have one long comment here, but when Maggi was banned in India for a short period of time, no Maggi lover switched from Maggi to other substitute. Okay, let's discuss this point here. We all are Maggi lovers. You know, number of you might be doing it. I am too. When we do not, there was a time that when you found lead in the, the level of lead was very high and it was banned in the market. When it was not available, we were trying to find from some of the grocery stores whether it's there or not. Then what exactly happened? Because we were so used to consuming noodles, right? We started thinking that what can be the alternative of the same? If not Maggi, then what? Can it be top ramen? Can it be top ramen? Or it can be, any other brand which gives you the similar kind of flavor. So, what exactly happened was, because we were used to having noodles. I'm not just talking about Maggi. Yes, we like the Maggi taste. We switched over. There was a specific reason behind taking that particular lot of products from the market. But then, yes, there are a couple of number of consumers, the percentage of the consumer who have finally switched to top ramen and they have not changed their preference, right? And they did not switch over back to Maggi. There are customers, 1% of loyal consumers who maybe at one point of time switched to top ramen, then again they came back to Maggi, right? So this is the situation. Maybe over a period of time when I start consuming top ramen, I started liking the taste and I really feel that yes, it can also be a good option or a good alternative, right? So it can happen or it cannot happen. So there can be circumstances based on how loyal and how, how much addicted you are towards a particular brand. So sometimes it does not really significantly matter to us, but sometimes it does. Sometimes we do not change the brand, we come back to the original one, and sometimes we stay with the changed brand. And we have done that a couple of times. So see, Maggi is something which is related to our taste buds, right? So, maybe sometime you used it and again you came back, and that can really happen, okay? So then I have, you got switched to Ching's. Okay, Ching's noodle. So we have a very good example. So what's his name? Because it becomes very difficult for me. I'm unable to read the name here from here. Okay, so somebody said that they shift to Ching's noodles. Now, it's a good example for us to understand that yes, one was not available in the market, so that made you shift to the other brand. So that's what, that's what you're trying to understand, that place is really, really important. You have to make the right product at the right time. This was an exceptional case because this was not in the company's hand. But otherwise, whatever is in your hands, you should be actually, maintaining your logistics in such a way that your product is made available to the audience at the right time. So it determines your transportation methods and the stock levels are most effective. Okay. How many of you have heard about, okay, just a second. of you have heard about EDP? Okay, let me just, before that, this. How many of you have heard about VMI? Anyone who has an idea? VMI? Okay, so I'm not getting any answers here. So if you do not have an answer, if you do not have an idea, you can just drop a message to me, no. Okay, don't know, fine. So see, VMI is vendor managed inventory, right? Now what is this vendor managed inventory? When you go to a retail outlet, so basically what happens is, you have different segments. Let me take up an example of Big Bazaar. You have different segments there. One is your clothes section, the another one is your cosmetic section, right? The another one is your, maybe you can say footwear section and so on. Now, it's such a huge departmental store, right? It's a huge superstore, I would say. For one single person to manage all the inventories all together. So what they do is, if I assume this to be Big Bazaar, right? And if I have all these multiple sections, so what we do is, maybe out of these 4 sections, they are vendor managed inventory. For example, this is related to, say, Levi's. So Levi's will be taking care of this particular section, right? So they are the ones, or maybe it can be just a full complete garment section. So there will be one vendor who will be assigned a duty to look after this particular section. Now, what they are supposed to do is, they have to see when the inventory comes down to the lowest minimum level, these inventories have to be again, replenished, right? They have to bring in the system so that they do not go below the minimum order. And as a result, the customer, when he visits your store, he should find the commodity, so it should not go out of the stock. So basically, their management is related to a particular section. We call it a vendor managed inventory. Now here, it's not just about this concept. Then we have another one, which is EDI. EDI is electronic data interchange. It is very, very important because we are talking about a concept of place here. It's very, very important for you to know that the commodities, they need to be present, right? They need to be made available at the right place. You cannot do it if you do not have an electronic data interchange and exchange system available with you. This EDI is, you must have all seen that whenever you go for shopping, there is a barcode that is scanned before you actually take away the items with you. Yes, you must have seen that. This is nothing, but it's a kind of a system which helps you in managing the level of inventory in your organization, right? Electronic data interchange. I've been scanning, say for example, I take a particular brand, say Dove, right? So what I'm doing is, I'm scanning Dove again. There is third customer again coming with Dove. So when I keep on scanning, now the system automatically tells me that I have come to a minimum level. And this kind of information automatically travels to my vendor, who is actually replenishing that inventory in my retail organization. So as a result, I do not have to place the order. I'm busy doing my work. I'm handling such a big organization, a huge retail outlet. So this EDI, electronic data interchange, right? Information is electronically traveling to the vendor, and automatically the vendor comes in, puts in the inventory, and the inventory never goes out of the stock. Is that clear to everyone? So vendor management inventory, managed inventory, and EDI definitely help you in order to maintain the right amount of quantity at the place where it is supposed to be maintained. I hope that point is clear to everyone. So electronic data interchange, of course, so there are answers coming in. I hope that makes the concept clear to you. It's really very important for us to maintain the inventories at the right place in the right quantity. Price is equally important. Of course, this is the only P in the marketing mix which is supposed to generate revenue for you. Rest all is an expenditure. You spend on promotion, that's an expenditure. You spend on the product development and production, that's an expenditure, and so on, right? This is the only P in marketing mix which will generate revenue for you. So it's very simple that you have to be very, very careful before you see that what level of pricing has to be maintained. So it is going to reflect what the customers are willing and able to pay. So I have to see where my product stands. Now go back to what we discussed previously. We were talking about the market. We were talking about the target market. We were talking about the competitors. So all these factors, whatever we have studied till now, they will help us in understanding what should be my price level, right? Depending on all these considerations, depending on my research. What is the retail price? How much discount has to be given? Allowances, credit terms and payments, and etc. etc. It's a complete topic. It's a huge chapter to discuss about. There are different kind of pricing strategy. Sometimes we come up with the pricing. Let me just give you one simple example here. Jio. When we started using the plans from Jio, right, the only thing which came in our mind was that this is a very economical plan, right? And each and every user can afford it. That was the strategy by Jio. And each and every person, majority of the population, they had Jio connection with them, right? So that was the pricing strategy by Jio, which said that I am coming up with a penetration pricing. I want to penetrate the market which has not been yet entered by me. I want to penetrate that market. I want to get inside it. And the only way and the easiest way to get into the market is keep my pricing as low as possible. Because it's very difficult to actually shift the consumers from Airtel to Jio. So that's the easiest way out. But now think about what they are doing currently. One plan which might be available to you at rupees say around 550 or 600 might now be available to you. So we were talking about the pricing part. We are through with it. Let's go to the another one now. Let's talk about promotion. Okay, so promotion is what? You're talking about your product, right? You really need to know how your product needs to be promoted, how it needs to be advertised, how it needs to be publicized, how you have to really make your real standing in the market as compared to the other competitors. So that's how you generally promote it. Now, the decisions about advertising, personal selling, sales promotion and publicity, they are generally taken under this head. I want to have one poll here, right? So what we are talking about is, it's related to the personal selling, the sales promotion, the publicity and so on. I really want to know that how many of you are really well aware about these terms. And what do you think that which kind of tool, advertising, especially the promotion tool, is more effective in nature? So can I have the third poll here with me? Can I see that how many of you, right? So which at the top, no, I want the fourth one. So I have started receiving the answers here. Wait, hold on. This is the fourth poll. Let's discuss about it. Which promotion tool is more effective? Number one, personal selling, advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing, publicity and affiliate marketing. I hope you all know about affiliate marketing. Is this the third party marketing? So you visit a particular website, you get the ads, sponsored ads, you click over it and then you are redirected to the website, the real one who is trying to promote it. So we call it affiliate marketing. Okay. Advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing and affiliate marketing. Okay. So that's increasing. I can see the percentage of advertising opting, respondents opting for advertising is increasing. Great. Nice. Okay. So personal selling holds a very minor and a very little percentage of it. Yes, just a 4% of it. So for advertising, we have approximately, how much is it? 56%, right? For sales promotion, approximately it's 12%. Direct marketing is 12%. Publicity, 0%. And affiliate marketing is 1%. It's 1%, right, sir? No, 16%. 16%, right. Okay, so I can see the poll results here. So now you all believe that advertising is one of the most effective promotion tool. So when the company is really putting up good efforts, right, in order to advertise its product, so I think it has done its promotion work really very effective. All right. So apart from that, just a second, we can also, can I have the next poll also with me? The third poll basically, the top of the mind brand. Now see, this is which milk brands are top of the mind at the time when you take your final decision to buy? Amul, Mother Dairy, Saras, Nestle, Widen or Quality? Nice, fantastic results. 95, okay, 90%. Just maybe 20 seconds more to go. All right, so we wind it up here. So Amul, approximately 92% of respondents said Amul, and Mother Dairy 8%. Now see, top of the mind is what? This is something which is related to promotion. When the product has been effectively and efficiently promoted, it gets registered in the mind of consumers. And when it gets registered in the mind, you know, it is recalled. Its recall value is more. So when at the time of final purchase, when you go to a retailer, right, you don't think about anything else. Automatically at the top of the mind, a particular brand clicks you hard and you ask for it. So if you're going to buy milk, you always say Amul, right? Or maybe Mother Dairy. So because 8% of the respondents also talked about Mother Dairy. So it completely depends that which kind of a brand is more popular in a particular geographical area. That's again very, very important. So depending on the way the company has advertised itself, right? So how it has promoted its product, how much personal selling has been done, how much publicity has a company gone to, right? So this will determine, because this will help you in making the presence felt in the mind of consumer. And this presence will bring a particular brand at the top of the mind. So of course, promotion is very, very important tool. Another part of it, that is the extended piece of marketing. Now, extended piece of marketing, we come to people, physical evidence and processes. Of course, people are important. They are the ones who are actually getting or making the things happen basically, right? How much level of artificial intelligence you have, my dear students, you can never be able to replace people in the organization at all, right? Yes, definitely, your artificial intelligence will reduce the work burden, right, of people working, but still their relevance and their importance will stay relevant. Physical evidence, yes, it is important because, you know, if you're buying something, you get a voucher, maybe you get a, you know, billing details and everything. So there has to be an evidence that something has happened, right? So that kind of, like for example, services. Now services, you do not get the actual product basically. So physical evidence is very important. The billing document which you get, the receipt which you get, you know, it becomes a physical evidence that you have taken that services from any organization. And processes are equally important because in between, like the way we were talking about vendor managed inventory or EDI, electronic data interchange, this is nothing but it's a kind of a process which is making the smooth flow of goods and services happen in the retail organization, right? This process is making the products available at the right time, at the right place. So if the process are not in place, this will definitely build in the negative publicity and the negative image of the companies. So extended piece of marketing are again considered to be equally important. So these are the 7 P's of marketing, just for your reference. Another, generally, you know, this is just for your reference where I have defined that what you actually want to offer to your consumers and audience, right? Promotion in terms of tools, price, because that's what a customer is supposed to pay, the place where you are seen, basically your presence, right? People, those who engage with your audience, right, on behalf of your company and deliver the services. Process, we just discussed about, it's nothing but about your customer experience, right? And when it comes to physical evidence, you really want the evidence of physical, intangible in nature, as we discussed about the services. So it is intangible in nature, so you got to have a receipt with you. Just just a way of depicting all these 7 P's of marketing at one place, right? I think we can share this PPT to our students once everything is done, once my lecture is over. I have taken this, the promotion, especially the marketing mix of Pepsi here, right? Just try and understand, give a look to it. It is just going to give you a good understanding with the help of an example, right? So you have product in the sense that you have a soft drink, right? Which is maybe 7-Up, Dukes, Mirinda, Mountain Dew and Pepsi or Slice. So these are some of the products which are being offered, because specifically here we are talking about the product. Then you have mineral bottled water, that is Aquafina. Then you talk about a sports drink, that is Gatorade. Then you talk about snacks, that is again one of the product being offered by the company, Cheetos, Lay's, Uncle Chips and so on. And then you talk about a breakfast food, that is Quaker Oats. So these are nothing but these are the products we have from the brand company, Pepsi. Then you talk about pricing. Pricing is generally, they stay relevant in the market with the help of competitive pricing. Competitive pricing is one way of pricing your commodity. The easiest way of doing it is what my competitors in the market have done. I cannot increase my pricing because otherwise I will not be able to take away the market share. I cannot be low because that might really depict a poor quality. So, you have to be very, very, vigilant while deciding the pricing strategy. So, this is just one of the way of doing it, what has been depicted here. So, now it lowers the prices for bulk buyers. Now, the pricing strategy over here of Pepsi, if we think of it, they are lowering the prices for bulk buyers. So, if you're buying from a particular, if you're buying in bulk, right, from the company, so maybe your pricing per unit costing might be really low. But when you're buying it, maybe there are certain top retailers in the market who would like to own your stock. Maybe your pricing strategy is entirely different. Similarly, place, where do you want to keep it? So, if you think about Pepsi, it's available online on the all kind of e-commerce platform. You have it in the retail shops, okay? Then you have it in supermarkets. Then you have it in general stores and so on. So, this is how we generally do it. And talking about a promotion here, as we said, you have a celebrity ambassador, okay? Then you have target youngsters. Just think about it. That's how Pepsi is doing it, okay? Promotional discounts and etc. So you have ATL and BTL promotions basically. We call it above the line promotions, and BTL is below the line promotions. Above the line promotions are basically, the ones which are considered to be the mass promotion or mass marketing. So above the line is that I'm designing one kind of a strategy, one kind of promotion activity which might be applicable to the complete audience, right? And if I do it below the line promotion, that means I'm doing it only for one specific audience, right? So what I have done previously in my marketing class, that I have asked you to divide the market, to segment the market. So if I'm segmenting the market for one particular portion of the market, I have a different marketing strategy or promotion strategy. So that is below the line. But if I take all the segments of the market together, right, the complete market, so that means I'm going for above the line promotion strategy. All right. So this is what we have in terms of marketing mix of Pepsi. Let me just go ahead with Nike. Let's leave it because we don't have enough time with us. So I'll just wind it up a little fast. As far as the strategies, the marketing strategies, what we are discussing, right? We have differentiated marketing strategy. Very, very important here. I have a message here. Can I just sure it will be available? Okay, hey, this you have dropped. Okay. So you have differentiated marketing strategy, and then you have concentrated marketing strategy, and then you have undifferentiated marketing strategy. Let's just go through these words, right? Differentiated marketing strategy. You have segmented the market. Now, when you have segmented the market, it is very clear that each and every segment is different from each other, right? Females cannot think with the same perception as males can think. Kids cannot have the same intelligence as adults have. Very clear concept. So therefore, it is very, very important for a company to have differentiated marketing campaigns, different styles of convincing them, different types of advertisements to come up with, right? So this is known as differentiated marketing. Another thing is, which is concentrated marketing. Now come to this sentence here. A differentiated marketing strategy, which is targeting basically two target groups or more than that. And a concentrated marketing strategy is targeted at one, right? So that means I'm just trying, maybe I have one particular way of targeting my consumer. So I have one target market, one concentrated market, right? Because I really need to understand that concentration gives me more power, because it makes me understand that how will I be able to concentrate all my efforts, my energy, my money, and pipeline it in such a way that I get the maximum result. And undifferentiated is where you feel that the whole market, the complete market is your market, and as a result, you design just one single strategy to do it. Okay. Now, this is the link which we will be sharing with you. This is a very good article basically. So see, as marketing students, because you are attending this mini MBA in marketing, so I believe that you all are interested in marketing. So my suggestion to all is that you should browse news, right? Read as many articles on marketing as you can, in fact from the business domain, right? This is going to give you an idea what exactly is happening currently. Because every kind of a business strategy is dependent on number of market forces. Now, for example, recently there was a change in the repo rate. Now, as a marketing professional, you should have an idea that if there is a change in the repo rate, right, what kind of an impact is it going to have on business, right? Now, this is a very complicated thing to understand, but what I mean to say is this one single point in the economy which will definitely have consequential changes. So, as a marketing professional, you should find out what would happen next because of one particular change taking place. This is a link which I am going to share with you, but this is a link which is related to sachetization and shrinkflation. Okay, every one of you must have heard about it. Sachetization is what? You saw that there was one time when all expensive brands, they started coming up with small sachets. You get a 1 rupee sachet, you get a 2 rupee sachet. So maybe instead of buying that big bottle, right, for example, if you're using Tresemme shampoo, right, instead of buying that big bottle which costs you around somewhere 600 or 700, maybe they give you a sachet of 2 rupee or 3 rupee, which might be really helpful for you, for just one time wash or something. So see, this scheme was basically with what reason? Because they wanted to increase their market share. Those people who were interested in buying good brands, good quality products, but they did not have good pocket size to buy a bottle at once of 700 rupees. So there came the concept of sachetization. But now this is a good way of increasing your market share, no doubts about it. Shrinkflation, it's nothing but it's a marketing gimmick. Shrinkflation says what? Maggie fans here, my dear students, Maggie fans, hello, hi. So Maggie fans, a packet of Maggie which used to be for around 65 grams, right, or it was like 55 grams, I'm unable to recall exactly. Now it is coming with 15% less quantity. Have you all observed that? Yes, yes. Oh, I'm getting that answer. That's nothing but it is shrinkflation. There are people who cannot really, be comfortable. They are not at ease with the level of inflation taking place in the economy, right? Now, what is happening is, what the company has done is, they reduce the quantity, but they, let the prices stay intact, right? So as a result, we do not even realize that there is a difference taking place as far as the money is concerned. But we are buying the less quantity, maybe 2 packets of Maggi, which could suffice maybe 3 people. Now they cannot suffice 3 people. Now it has to be 3 packets. So though it is costing us more, but what I'm doing is I'm still buying 2 packets. Same happens with petrol, right? What do you do generally? Maybe you get your tank filled. Maybe you say that you don't talk about in liters sometimes. You say, Bhaiya 500 ka dalna, right? Or maybe 1000, right? So it's about money here. You know it very well that in 1000 now the quantity has come down, right? So it's nothing but it's a marketing gimmick. Here I'm just telling you how the consumers, what is the perception of the consumer, how they think about it. So plus with that they write 15% extra, and it is equal to the earlier package quantity. Very true, very true. Absolutely right. So you understand these marketing strategies very well, right? And see, you will be able to connect each and everything once you start understanding the marketing concepts. When you start understanding what exactly is taking place in the market, then you will see, okay, I can correlate it with the concept I discussed in my class. Everybody knows about marketing very well, but just about correlation, which is important. Okay. Oh, nice, nice. I really liked it, so I thought I'll bring it for you. So this is nothing but we are talking about marriage connecting sites here. So she has a dedicated profile, right? He feeds the strays on the street. So they both have the similar kind of interest, basically, this similar interest. And as a result, they both got connected and got married. Any one of you who can give me an idea which site is that? If I have not written it? Yes? All right. Shadi.com. Absolutely, absolutely. Shadi.com. Somebody wrote Tinder. Okay, it's Shadi.com. Okay. All right. Okay. Coming to this marketing environment, I really feel that you can just go through this. We have already discussed that if there are changes taking place, right? If there are changes taking place in any of the factors, right? For example, this is a company. Just to give you a brief overview on it, right? Now, the company, it has its internal environment. Then it deals with public. Then it has competitors. Then it has suppliers. And then it has competitors. So this has been taken in this particular circle. So that means these are the parties which are closely connected with the business, right? And if there is any kind of a decision to be taken by the company, it considers these factors which are closely related to it, okay? Of course, there are factors like political, cultural, demographic, economic, and natural, right? Of course, demographically, as we discussed even in one of our slides, that there are certain demographic variables to be considered: age, gender, sex, and etc. Then you have the cultural factors. Then you have political, which political party is in existence, is in power, right? What kind of technological changes are taking place? So if you study this micro, that is micro environment, those factors which are very closely related to the company, right? And the another one is your macro environment, the environment definitely which is impacting the company's decisions, but it is not as closely related as the micro environment, like companies, suppliers, customers, intermediaries, competitors, and public, right? So what I mean to say with this slide is that all these factors, they need to be considered wisely and intelligently by the company before devising any kind of a marketing policy. All right? We do not have much time, and if there are any specific questions, I would like to take them up. Otherwise, we can also send you the answers to the same question later on once the session is over.